Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots from Snarful Solutions Group. I'm Alex. We're here every day to dive deep into the tech news that really matters. Cutting through the noise, giving you the insights you need. Okay, so let's get you updated. Today is Thursday, September 4th. Quick look at the weather. That big sheet wave out in the Pacific Northwest, it's finally easing up, thankfully. But the Southwest might see some flooding risk through Saturday. Monsoonal moisture, maybe some remnants of Lorena here in Sacramento. Pretty nice. Sunny, high around 90. Markets check. Dow Jones closed up just a bit. 45,287.85. That's up about 0.18%. S&P 500 also up slightly. 6,458.22. 0.03% gain. Bitcoin, though, took a bit of a tumble today, down about 1.3% to 110,296.26. Still up for the weeks in September 1st, though. Barely, but it is. And some good news if you're a Giants fan. They beat the Rockies 10-8 yesterday. Nice win. Joel Peguero got the W.
Okay, lots happening there. But let's unpack today's main stories. We've got a really significant antitrust ruling involving Google. Then there's a big move in in-flight Wi-Fi. Think satellites. And finally, a pretty chilling look at state-sponsored crypto hacking, North Korea specifically. We'll break down why these stories are more than just headlines, right? They show where tech, business, and even security are heading.
Absolutely. Let's start with that Google ruling. It came out of the U.S. District Court dealing with their search monopoly. People are calling it historic.
Yeah, historic is one word for it. Judge Amit Mehta was pretty direct. He basically said, and I'm quoting roughly here, Google is a monopolist and it acted like one. Benefit. The core issue. Those billions, literally billions, Google pays companies like Apple and Samsung.
Right, to be the default search engine.
Exactly, to lock in that dominance. And when you look at the numbers, Google has something like 89% of general search.
And even higher on mobile, isn't it? Like 95%.
That's right, 94.9% on mobile. It's a massive share. So Attorney General Merrick Garland calling it an historic win isn't surprising.
Okay, historic win, clear finding of monopoly. But what actually happens now? What are the sanctions? Because I've heard some say the remedies were, a bit cautious.
That's really the crux of it. The remedies aren't nothing, don't get me wrong. Google does have to share some anonymized search data with competitors now. And those big payments for default placement. They face new restrictions, audits, things like that. So it makes it harder to just buy dominance.
Okay, so some changes.
But, and this is the big but, the court didn't go nearly as far as the government wanted. They asked for Google to maybe sell off Chrome or share much, much more valuable data. The court said no to that. So yeah, cautious is a good word. It feels very measured, almost like the court is hesitant to, shake things up too much in such a fast-moving market.
Interesting. Why the caution, though? If they found Google is a monopolist acting illegally, why hold back on the remedies?
Well, Judge Mehta actually mentioned the impact of AI. He said AI is already shaking up how people search, right?
Yeah.
It's changing everything. So trying to predict the future and impose remedies now, he basically said it's like gazing into a crystal ball. Very difficult.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and Professor William Kovacic, who used to chair the FTC, he called it a cautious ruling too. It's like the court acknowledged the problem, but it's maybe unsure how to fix it without breaking something else, especially with AI evolving so fast.
So it's less about a dramatic overhaul and more about tweaking the system, pushing for slightly more competition without forcing a massive restructuring.
Kind of feels that way. It's saying play a bit fairer, but not change the entire game. It signals that maybe courts are going to be reluctant to impose massive structural changes on big tech, especially when the tech itself is in such flux.
Which brings us back to the listener, right?
Yeah.
What does this mean for us? And for other big tech companies like Meta, Amazon, Apple facing scrutiny? Does this ruling actually level the field, or does it just show how hard it is for law to keep up with tech?
I think it strongly suggests the latter. This sets a precedent, perhaps, for how courts might handle these complex cases going forward. They see the monopoly, but the rapid change, especially with AI, makes them hesitant about drastic interventions. It poses that huge question: how can legal systems keep pace with innovation effectively? It's a real tightrope walk.
A very tricky balance indeed. Okay, let's shift gears from the complexities of law to the complexities of getting decent Wi-Fi at 35,000 feet. Amazon's Project Kuiper is making news.
Big news. JetBlue just became the first airline to sign up for Amazon's Project Kuiper. That's Amazon's satellite internet system. It uses Ki-band, which is good for high data rates, and it's low Earth orbit, LEO, which means lower latency.
Yep.
Fast response times, basically.
LEO, right? Closer satellites, quicker signals.
Exactly. So JetBlue plans to install this Kuiper tech on about a quarter of its fleet, starting in 2027. They're aiming to replace older Viasat systems. Full rollout by 2028. And the promise is pretty impressive. Low latency, high-speed internet. They've apparently hit over 1 gigabit per second in ground tests.
1 gigabit per second on a plane. That's a game changer compared to what most of us are used to. Why JetBlue, though? What's their motivation for jumping in with Amazon first?
Well, JetBlue's president, Marty St. George, talked about changing passenger habits. It's not just downloading movies anymore, right? People are uploading more.
Video calls, social media, work stuff. Yeah.
Precisely. So he sees this Kuiper partnership as key to staying ahead of the competition. Called it an exciting leap forward. And for Amazon, look, this is huge. It's a $10 billion project, this Kuiper venture. They've got over 100 satellites up, but they need 1,600 by mid-2026 to meet FCC rules.
Wow. Okay, so they need customers.
They desperately need customers and validation. Getting a major airline like JetBlue on board is a massive win. It proves the concept and puts pressure on competitors.
Speaking of competitors, here's where it gets really interesting, right? Because SpaceX's Starlink is already a big player in the space. How does Kuiper plan to compete?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Well,
Starlink has a huge head start. They've got something like 8,000 satellites already.
8,000 compared to Amazon's 100 plus.
Yeah. And Starlink already has deals with Air France, United, Hawaiian, quite a few others. So Amazon is definitely playing catch-up. But this JetBlue deal clearly boosted confidence. Amazon stock jumped over 2% in pre-market trading after the announcement.
Okay, so investors like it, but what's the actual strategy? Just launch more satellites faster.
That's part of it, for sure. But JetBlue also mentioned something interesting, exploring a multi-orbit solution. That means potentially combining Kuiper's LEO satellites, the fast, low-latency ones, with existing geostationary, or GEO, networks, like maybe even Viasat's newer ones.
GEO, those are the higher satellites, wider coverage but slower speeds.
Right. The idea is maybe you could use both systems together. LEO for speed-critical stuff, GEO for broader coverage or backup. JetBlue thinks this could create even more robust in-flight connectivity. It's a way for Kuiper to potentially offer something differentiated, maybe.
A hybrid approach. That's clever. So for you listening, imagine actually reliable, fast Wi-Fi on your next flight. Maybe even free eventually. How does this competition change your travel, and what does it mean for Starlink, Viasat, all the others? It feels like things are about to get much faster up there.
It really does. It's pushing the whole industry forward. More competition usually means better service, maybe lower prices for you down the line. It's definitely something to watch.
Okay, so from connecting the dots in the sky, let's turn to a darker side of connectivity. State-sponsored cybercrime. Specifically, North Korean crypto hackers. This story is pretty sobering.
It's deeply concerning. The numbers alone are just staggering. In 2024 so far, hackers linked to North Korea have stolen around $2.2 billion in crypto.
$2.2 billion just this year.
Just this year. That's up 21% from last year. And get this, it accounts for 61%, nearly two-thirds of all crypto stolen globally in 2024. $1.34 billion of the total. And if you look back from 2017 to 2023, they grabbed over $3 billion.
That's insane. Why? What are they doing with all that crypto?
It's funding the regime, specifically their nuclear weapons programs. And it helps them get around international sanctions. Every crypto dollar they steal basically frees up a regular dollar they can use for, well, whatever the state wants. It's a direct line to funding illicit activities.
Okay, that's chilling. But the how is almost creepier, isn't it? These fake job offers, the social engineering. It sounds incredibly elaborate.
Oh, it is. It's highly sophisticated social engineering. They prey on trust and ambition. They'll pose as VCs or recruiters from big tech firms, sometimes even as fellow remote IT workers needing help.
How do they make it convincing?
They use AI-generated identities now. Fake profile pictures, sometimes even face swapping or voice-changing tech for video calls. They build these elaborate fake personas on LinkedIn, GitHub, you name it. Then they lure you in. Maybe it's a virtual meeting link that doesn't work, and they offer you a fix, which is malware.
Ah, classic.
Or it's a skills assessment for a fake job offer, and the assessment itself contains the malware. Once that's on your system, they can access crypto wallets, company secrets, anything.
Like that big Axie Infinity heist. Wasn't that a fake job offer?
Exactly like that. That was over $600 million, traced back to a senior engineer being tricked by a fake job opportunity. It shows how effective these tactics are.
It's terrifyingly effective. How do they manage the logistics, though? Operating globally, getting money out, bypassing sanctions, it sounds like a huge operation.
It is. One key part involves using U.S.-based facilitators. These might be people who don't even realize who they're working for. They'll receive a company laptop, maybe from a fake job, at a U.S. address. Then they install remote access software, letting the actual North Korean operatives log in from afar without revealing their location.
Wow, so they use unsuspecting middlemen.
Sometimes unsuspecting, sometimes complicit. It helps them launder money and avoid sanctions. And these operatives aren't just in North Korea. Microsoft found evidence they operate from places like Russia and China, too, making them harder to track. Microsoft actually got lucky recently. They found what they called entire playbooks, accidentally left exposed by one of these IT workers. Detailed their fake identities, methods, everything.
An accidental leak gave away their playbook. That's quite a slip-up. Despite all this sophistication, do they make other mistakes? Are there any tells?
Sometimes. Yeah, little things can give them away. Security researchers have caught them using weird phrasing, like a supposed Japanese person using Japanese phrases that don't actually exist.
Linguistic errors?
Right. Or inconsistencies in their digital footprint. Maybe their IP address traces back to Russia, but their fake identity claims a Chinese bank account. Things that don't quite add up. The FBI is also warning constantly now about deepfakes being used in hiring. They're pushing companies hard to improve their vetting for remote workers, because this isn't just about stealing crypto anymore. It's about undermining trust in the whole digital system, right? Using AI, using remote work tools against us. It forces us to rethink how we verify anything online. We can't just trust a face on a screen anymore.
It really changes the game. This isn't just a crypto problem, it's a fundamental security challenge for digital life, for businesses hiring remotely, and it shows the really dark side of AI's capabilities. What stands out most to you about this ongoing threat? Makes you double-check every connection request, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. What stands out is the adaptability and the sheer persistence. They treat it like a state-sponsored enterprise, because it is, and they're constantly evolving their tactics. It just underscores how critical vigilance and advanced security measures have become for everyone, individuals and companies alike.
A critical vulnerability indeed. Okay, a lot to think about there. Let's quickly recap the ground we covered. We started with that Google antitrust ruling, historic finding, but maybe cautious remedies, showing the challenge courts face with fast-moving tech and AI. Then we flew up to discuss Amazon Kuiper, partnering with JetBlue. Big potential for transforming in-flight Wi-Fi, but facing fierce competition from Starlink. And finally, that sobering look at North Korean crypto hackers, their staggering theft, sophisticated social engineering using AI, and how it funds the regime, posing a deep threat to digital trust.
Right. And maybe the thread connecting all these is about control, trust, and the pace of change. Who controls information flow like Google? Who controls connectivity like Amazon and SpaceX? And who exploits trust like these state hackers? As we wrap up, maybe consider this. As AI influences court cases, satellites change travel, and cyber threats get smarter, how do we balance innovation with regulation, security, and just basic trust in this digital age? It seems like we need both rapid innovation and extreme vigilance, constantly.
Powerful thought to end on. A world demanding both, absolutely. And that's our deep dive for today. Remember, we're here to help at Snarful. If you have questions, reach out on our website. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.